So I get up and we're kind of like doing this in the rigmarole. What are we going to do? 10:15 Saturday morning, I go to my kid. And we're like, we're going to see Taylor Swift. And he was like me right now. Dude was balling. He was just like, he was ready. He's so excited. We don't have tickets. We don't have a place to stay. We got a full tank of gas. And, dude, YOLO. So he was on his knees at the end of the stage. And, his face is like, 60 feet tall in this Jumbotron. And I was like, you got to be fucking joking me. I completely lost my shit. Like, I was screaming. I have a video of the whole thing. It was bananas. And I was like, I'm not sure like the best way to describe it, but definitely, having something happen that was totally unexpected, and having your kid get to experience something that was like off the charts and or like life-changing. You're like, holy crap, man. Like, top 5 moment of my life, and it was really just for my kid. It sure is weird being a parent sometimes.
What up? It's Fred Ray, the guy who started Rain City Capital back in 2009 when private lending wasn't exactly the cool kid on the block. Welcome to Good Nuggets, a podcast that's as much about the failures and holy shit moments as it is about the wins. Here's the deal. I watch people go from nearly walking out of the door to becoming absolute powerhouses in this business. We'll get into the weeds with loan officers, talk strategy with fellow lenders, and swap war stories with entrepreneurs who have been there. No fluff, no corporate BS, just authentic conversations and practical takeaways you can actually use. So grab whatever you're drinking, get comfortable, and let's get after some good nuggets.
I wanted to share a story that is honestly one of the craziest things that's ever happened in my life, and top 5 moment. So if you want to hear a little story about culture and about just crazy shit that happens in life, this is a great one to listen to. It was December of 24. Taylor Swift has come to town. I live in Seattle. She was in Vancouver, and it was the final 3 nights of the Eras Tour, which obviously, if you haven't been living under a rock, the fucking Eras Tour is, like the panacea of anything Taylor Swift. But before I go there, before I talk about the concert, let me take you back. So March of 2023, Taylor's very first show comes out. And my wife, being my wife, she was like, I really got to take our son, our oldest. And he didn't know what was going to happen, and the tickets were going crazy. No one knew anything about the shows or anything else. And so my wife ended up buying tickets, getting a flight to Arizona. The tickets were like $300, and that was after post-market. She didn't get them there, and there's like the whole ticket debacle. Anyway, her and my oldest, they go to the concert in Arizona, and my son's concert life is instantly ruined because it's also his first like real legitimate concert that he's been to, and it was amazing, right? He went down there, a timid, like closet Swiftie, didn't want to tell his friends at school, and then he came back, and his Swiftie flag was flying high and bright. Fast forward to December. I obviously know a bunch of people that have been to the concert. A bunch of people went to the concert early, and like when she was in Seattle. A couple other people that I know had traveled and been to the concerts in other spots, and they were paying like thousands of dollars for these tickets. And me being me, and I know my wife really wanted to go. And, when I was looking at it, it was like for a family of 4 to go to this concert, it was like $20,000, which, dang, that's a lot of money. Without really like spending a lot of time and energy talking about it, I just kind of like wrote it off. We're not going to do it. So Friday night, the third to last show, whatever, she performed. Saturday morning, my wife goes and she works out. She comes back in. She's like, babe, I think I found face value tickets. I'm like, okay, no, you didn't, but let's play this thing out. So we ended up, putting $200 into and giving it to a scammer. But even if there's a 10% chance that we got, these face value tickets, that would have been amazing. And it was totally a scam, but what it really got us going at, so like Saturday morning, 10 a.m., I look at my phone. I'm laying in bed because I'm having a lazy Saturday morning, and I see the ticket prices are like legitimately half. I'm like, okay. So it turns the conversation from a $20,000 conversation to a $10,000 conversation. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I get up and we're kind of like doing this in the rigmarole. What are we going to do? 10:15 Saturday morning, I go to my kid, and we're like, we're going to see Taylor Swift. And he was like me right now. Dude was bawling. He was just like, he was ready. He's so excited. Because we hadn't talked about it. We hadn't done anything. We were like, okay, we got to go. This concert starts at like, whatever, 5:30 or 6 p.m. We got to drive from Seattle. We got to get through the border. There's going to be border traffic. So we legitimately are in the car. Like 10 minutes later, we pack up and we go. We're going to Vancouver. We don't have tickets. We don't have a place to stay. We got a full tank of gas, and dude, YOLO. And then so we were just constantly updating, on the ticket websites. Hey, do we sit here? Do we sit there? What are we going to end up doing? The ticket prices were going up and then down and up and down. And we were like, look, by the time we get to the border, we have to buy all of our stuff. We can't go into Canada and not know what we're doing. So fast forward, we get it all figured out. And it was less than $10,000. But that's beside the point. So 4:45, and this is where a story starts getting interesting. 4:45, we are standing in a pizza place 2 blocks away from the stadium. And we hadn't really eaten food and really done much. And we were like, holy crap. We are very underdressed. So both of my kids, they had hoodies on, like Taylor Swift hoodies. Same with my wife. No sequins, no nothing, no craziness. And so like we're kind of feeling left out. So we eat our pizza, 5:30, we sit down at our seats. And shit. I was like, this is a judgment-free zone, which really like plays out well. Hey, no judgment. We're going to be basically standing, dancing, doing all sorts of crazy stuff for the next 4 hours. So just, for lack of a better term, let your freak flag fly and have a great time. No one's going to judge you. No one's going to ridicule you, everything else. And, my kids were definitely giving it to me because they were like, you don't know what this is? You know what that is? So Taylor goes on at like 8. And my oldest is like, dude, I'm having a hard time holding back tears because he's just so happy. He didn't think there was a chance that we would ever go and do something like this. And, my wife and I were like dancing high school style with like To Lover and whatever, right? Like we're doing the concert thing. And there's like this boss lady that's kind of walking around. And we're not sitting on the floor. We're like, 3 or 4 rows back. And you can kind of see her. She's telling these other dudes what to do. And this like other lady like gave her this halo and she like promptly threw it in the garbage and like, okay, thank you, but I don't need this anymore. So she's definitely some sort of a boss lady. So anyway, she walks up the stairs. We're kind of near the aisle and she points at my son, says, come with me, and points to my wife like, come. And I'm like, holy crap, what is going on? And my youngest one I was like, dude, where are they going? What's going on? And so instantly she's walking away. My son, mind you, at the back of this thing, my son is like, I thought I was getting kicked out. Or maybe our seats are getting upgraded, but I don't necessarily know what was going on. So anyway, I watched this lady and these 2 like big old dudes whisk my kid and my wife away, and they're like walking up, and they're kind of like walking on the floor and meandering towards the stage. And I was like, what is happening? And it's the red transition, which I had no idea what that was either, but changing from the albums and whatever. And my youngest says, he's going to get the hat. And I was like, what are you talking about? Again, I didn't see any of the concerts. I didn't watch any of the movies. I'm like a bystander at best when it comes to Taylor Swift stuff. I enjoy Taylor Swift things for sure, and I always have. And I actually have this argument that there is some point of genre that someone likes some Taylor Swift song, and I've definitely won this conversation more times than argument more times than I care to admit. But all of a sudden, Taylor Swift and her group of singers pops out, and she's wearing a hat. I was like, you got to be joking me. Like, holy crap. And I'm just recording this whole thing, and I'm trying to zoom in my camera. And then she is like doing her thing, singing the song and the 22 song, and walking up to my kid. And dude, my kid's head was like, he was so nervous. He was like, I can't stand up. So he was on his knees at the end of the stage, and his face is like, whatever, 60 feet tall on this jumbotron. And I was like, you got to be fucking joking me. I completely lost my shit. Like, I was screaming. I have a video of the whole thing. It was bananas. And I was like, I'm not sure like the best way to describe it, but definitely, having something happen that was totally unexpected, and having your kid get to experience something that was like off the charts and or like life-changing. You're like, holy crap, man. Like, top 5 moment of my life, and it was really just for my kid. It sure is weird being a parent sometimes. And so, we're standing, I mean, obviously this is a packed house, this is the end show, and we're standing next to people, and the first time that someone asked to like, hey, can I see this hat? My son was like, and he obliged. He's like, this was lucky for me. I'm just going to share it. And instantly I went on from like, this is so amazing to like, bro, I'm like, I'm Mission Impossible. I'm Jason Bourne. I am like full dad mode. If anybody tries to take this hat, I'm thumping them. I'm pretty spry too. So this is where the crazy part ends up coming. And this is like the business and the culture and everything. So if you're still listening, here we go. And nothing gets you ready for being a celebrity within 24 hours, but for my son, he was so like gracious with and sharing with all of it. At first, like when we were gonna leave, we didn't have time because we got there at like 4:30. We didn't have time to go to any of the signs around the city and whatnot. So on Sunday, the last day of the show, we walked around and went to the signs, and he didn't want to leave the hat anywhere. Who would, right? So instantly we're in this elevator and everybody knows him. Everybody is like, that's the 22 kid. And it was so cool to watch, my kid be a celebrity for a day, because, he was walking around. He took hundreds of pictures with, gotta be thousands of people at this point, all of which he would, hand over the hat, tell the story about it. They're like, hey, do you know anything? Do you do anything? And it was just dumb luck. And I think, my son was just dancing his head off in our judgment-free zone. So we're standing in the merch line. And if you've ever been to a Taylor Swift merch line, it's like long and meandering and kind of crazy. And my younger one and I are like kind of keeping our place in line, but eventually they just get stopped. And they're sitting there. And, progressively over time, as I'm watching, I'm like still in like Mission Impossible mode, like trying to make sure that my kids don't do it. But what I really started to figure out and see over time was there was not a single person in there that wasn't ready to throw down if someone was going to jack that thing. There was this community of people that were all, they treat it like a relic. It was a trip, right? I watched 6-year-olds and 60-year-olds literally grab this thing and cry, which is wild to me, right? But I quickly found out, I was like, dude, they are in the Swifties' hands, and I think they're in like good hands for sure. it was really like it was a great experience from that perspective. And I don't think that there's ever a time where I've experienced culture like that. And obviously this is something that's lasted over whatever, a decade of Taylor making music. But I mean, you can make the case that there's it's predominantly women. You can make the case that some people are older or younger. I mean, there's all these different things, but there was not a single person in there that I was ever worried about. Once I really understood it, that I was worried about them going. So, in my opinion, and this is just a dude with a microphone that is running a business that is constantly worried about culture. We've grown to over 120-ish people, and we still continue to grow. And my number one worry is always breaking culture. But I think, and I don't know as much as I should know about Taylor Swift. Sorry, Taylor. But what I do know is that she has created a following of people who are accepting and giving, and I got to experience it in the most epic way. With something could have easily been stolen or something like, and everybody treated my son and my family with respect, kindness, and generosity that I never really thought was like true. And it really gave me hope of like, if you really just lead, and what I thing that I believe about Taylor is she's just kind of been authentic throughout her life, whether sharing the sorrows or the happiness or everything in between, just living your life and being true to you. I think that as a leader, that resonates with people. And if there's one thing that I can always, that's my one advice to anybody coming into any business, doing anything ever, is like, be you. So that was my giant takeaway. And, look, Taylor, if you ever see this or if you read it, the one thing I would say for you is you are the fucking man. I know you don't shy away from the swear words either, but what you've done, either purposefully or not purposefully, just by being you. And I might be making this whole thing up, and if I am, whatever. But either way, no one can keep up with you and the way that you led with authenticity and created a following that gave me, my family, and really the people around me like a fucking amazing experience that money could never buy. So for that, I thank you. You're the man.